The Taming of Coyote, Chapter 19. "Ezra!" Sonia called from Coyote's front yard. "Ezra!" "What's going on?" Coyote asked as he began to load a wheelbarrow with wood. Winter was cold, and they would need to keep warm. "Ezra and I came out to play," she sighed. "He ran off suddenly. Now he won't come back when I call. Call him for me, Coyote." He laughed. He probably decided to chase a rabbit, or maybe he's looking for a place to relieve himself. Sonia crossed her arms and pouted. "Well, now I'm bored. Will you play with me?" "Give me a little time, Sonia. There are still a few things I have to do." "Then let me help you," she offered. "No need, I can handle it. You just play in the snow." "But I'm bored," she insisted as she stomped her foot. Coyote perked and listened carefully. "Not for long," he muttered. Sonia started to turn around. She didn't make it. Out of nowhere, a big fuzzy body crashed into her. Down she went onto her back, into the snow. She let out a groan and slowly opened her eyes. Dancing about her and scratching in the snow and dirt was a highly excited Ezra. Coyote rushed over to investigate. He stood over Sonia and watched her carefully. "Sonia, are you all right?" "I feel like I've been hit by a Clydesdale," she groaned. I'm fine." After a moment, she sprawled herself out and began to flap her arms and legs. "What are you doing?" "Snow angels," she giggled. His face brightened. Oh, she was so sweet. He spread his arms out to his sides and flopped backwards. He then began to imitate her movements. "Way to go, Coyote! Now you're a woodland angel." Angel. Coyote sat up and brushed the snow from his coat. Ezra rolled on the ground beside him, pushing himself through the snow like a shovel. "Sonia, do you want to hear a story?" Sonia was practically in his lap in an instant. "What's this one about?" she asked with great enthusiasm. "Is it another battle? Another milestone?" "I want to tell you the story of how I met Lorraine." Sonia became solemn and quiet. This was it, wasn't it? This was originally what she had wanted to know. She was so caught up in Coyote's other stories that she had almost forgotten. She gave him a nod, a signal to begin. The 1st of May brought a taste of paradise. Spring was in full swing, and the weather was warm. The sun was bright. The birds sang in a chorus of twitters, and the scent of honeysuckles wafted throughout the air overturned. The maypole was present in the square as the businesses went about their normal day. Children held tight to their laces as they danced about the white pole. Colorful braids began to travel down. An old man, one of the oldest in turn, sat on a bench to watch their merriment. One of the girls skipped in the circle only to slip on a rock and tumble away from the others. Everyone stopped and turned their eyes on her. A little dusty, she was unhurt. She even laughed. So the children returned to their play. "You should be more careful," the old man warned with a chuckle. "Accidents happen, Grandpa." She smiled as she got to her feet. In reality, this man was her great-grandfather. But with him outliving her grandparents, it seemed acceptable. She was a lovely girl, this Lorraine Turn. She was fair-skinned with bright blue eyes and long raven black hair. She dusted off her dress and came to sit beside the aged old leader, Avery Turn. "Won't you play some more?" "Nah, I'm tired of the maypole. I want to do something else." Avery brushed some of her hair back. "Your mother was thinking of making a blackberry pie for dessert tonight." "Oh, yum! Mm-mm!" Lorraine swooned as she licked her lips. "That sounds delicious!" "Well then, grab yourself a bucket or a basket, Lorraine," he chuckled. "You can go pick some blackberries to go in it." Lorraine made a face. Then she decided that some quiet time near the woods would be nice. It was tranquil and away from the hustle and bustle of the village square. She gave her great-grandfather a hug and darted off in order to find a berry basket. A hummingbird hovered over a bush. It darted in for the flower of a honeysuckle. Once Lorraine came close, it surrendered the bush to her. Before setting to work on her berry picking, she picked a few of the blossoms to sip the dewdrops of nectar herself. Ah, the taste of an oncoming summer. Well, to work she went. She reached for the biggest and juiciest of the blackberries. The more she picked, the more she could snack on while the pie was baking. They were abundant for sure. Lorraine hummed a little tune as she put herself into a rhythm. Lorraine reached for a big berry lower on the bush. A yelp made her scream and fall backwards into the grass. The basket landed upright. Luckily, not a berry was lost. As for the yelping berry, it wasn't a berry at all. From the bush, a large red head popped out. Lorraine's eyes went wide. She had seen coyotes throughout her life, but this was the biggest coyote that she had ever seen. He was the most bizarre color that she had ever seen, and never had she seen any evidence of stripes on any other. There was no reason for fear. Everyone knew the people of Tern were the people of the coyote. The beast would not harm her. Indeed, he approached her calmly, more like a domesticated dog than a wild animal, and he licked her face. "Oh, you silly old cur," she laughed as she scratched behind his ear. "You scared me." Coyote panted wide, as if to laugh behind a smile. He said nothing. He did, however, a few tricks for her entertainment. Her laughter was like bells and songbirds to him. He knew very well who she was, though they had never formally met. She was the most beautiful girl in Tern. As she stood up, he sat down. Then he wagged his tail wildly. "You're a beautiful coyote, aren't you?" Oh, he liked that. He had never been called beautiful before. He couldn't even remember the days when he was a beautiful youth. Oh, how she flattered him. He never wanted her to stop. But she did. She picked up her basket and went to work with a giggle. "I gotta finish picking these berries for Mom." Coyote watched her. From then on, she vaguely acknowledged him, but he seemed fine with that. He only felt a twinge of jealousy towards the blackberry bush. He wanted to speak. There was no reason not to. Yet no words came. He just couldn't think of any to form. So he remained silent as she went about her berry picking. She finally finished and turned to him with a bright smile. "I have to go home now. Mom wants to make a big blackberry pie out of these." Coyote licked his lips. That sounded rather yummy. He hadn't had pie in a long time. Bravely, Lorraine petted his head and gave his ear another little scratch to signal her farewell. Then, as he stayed behind, she returned towards the village.